So today we're doing coffee photography, and in this video I'm going to show you how to do it. Now the first step to do coffee photography is, well, make a cup of coffee. So yeah, here I have my unclean desk. Let me just clean this real quick, cause yeah, sorry about that. So now that I have a very clean desk, my first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this brown backdrop. And the reason why I'm using this brown backdrop, even if I already had a wooden desk, is just because coffee has more of a darker color, and so this is why I'm using this darker wood to fit in with the colors of coffee. You can get a backdrop like this on Amazon for very cheap. I think it's like 20 bucks, it's not too expensive. So here I'm just going to add this cup of coffee in the frame. I'm also going to add a Chemex in the background, and the reason why is just to add a bit of storytelling to the whole picture. I think one of the most important aspects to photos like these is really to add a story in an image. And if you have the story of the product all in one photo, it really adds into the picture itself. So I'm going to add more objects here. I have this wooden plank now, and I'm going to place the coffee cup on the wooden plank. This is just a cutting board that's actually broken on the right side, but you know, it's fine. I'm also going to add this cloth, and the cloth, really the only reason it's there is to add some texture. The wooden plank is also a texture sort of vibe. I'm going to add some Irish cream just to make it more kind of like a fancy coffee, because that's the kind of vibe that I'm going for. I'm going for more like a coffee shop, fancy coffee sort of thing. Now if I add the Chemex at the background here, it really just adds into the whole story. And if I add the kettle here to the foreground, it once again adds to the story. Now I don't want the kettle to be too distracting, but I want it to be a small detail for anyone that notices the kettle itself. Now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some coffee beans absolutely randomly around the coffee, and this is just to add the ingredients of the product itself, and it also adds to the whole story line behind the picture. So here we have our picture, and to be honest, it's not too bad. Now the only problem here is we have Irish cream, but I'm showing a cup of black coffee, and that doesn't really work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the black coffee with some whipped cream here. So I'm going to spin around my coffee, and then I'm just going to sit the whipped cream, and it's just going to roll by itself. And I'm also going to add some chocolate powder. Now there is a small bit of coffee that fell on the cutting board, but that's not too bad. It's just a small details, and I think it also adds to the storyline. So here we have a picture again. It's okay, I like it, but I felt as if the whipped cream was a bit too flat. I think usually when you think about whipped cream, you see it more like over the border, kind of like higher up. So instead I just like mixed it up, and now it looks like some cream and sugar sort of coffee, which worked, but I think I was just more of a fan of the whole whipped cream thing. So I added whipped cream, and as you can see here, complete explosion. And this is why I recommend you, if you are ever to do a picture like this, buy a brand new can of whipped cream. Don't take an old one, because if you get an old can of whipped cream, what's gonna happen? It's going to explode everywhere. It's just very messy. But when you get a new can of whipped cream, then it's just very smooth and straight. So here we have our final image. I took the liberty to edit the photo itself, just adding a bit of details, and here we go. I think at the end of the day, the most important part about photos like this is really just to add a good story with a bit of texture, and you'll get a banger.